Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports.
Yes, welcome to FanStream Sports. What is up, everybody? This is Wil Riggs, and you are watching/listening to Riggs on Rangers. We're going to bring you all your Texas Rangers content each and every day while we're talking Texas Rangers. Let's go ahead and talk about what's going on right now out in Surprise, Arizona. Right now, if you don't know what's going on in Surprise, it is spring training, and currently your Texas Rangers lead the Cincinnati Reds 9-2 in the top of the sixth inning. Matter of fact, the Rangers have scored in every single inning except the fifth inning. They are batting right now in the top of the sixth, 9-2. We'll update you on all that the rest of the show until that game has concluded, or we conclude first, whichever comes first. We'll get it going. So, of course, on Friday, spring training got underway. It was a scrappy game from your Texas Rangers. They fell behind 2-0 and got ahead 3-2, and then fell back behind 5-3. Ultimately tied it in the eighth with a run in the seventh and the eighth to make it 5-5, and then turn around and lost in the bottom of the ninth inning, which is absolutely hey, look, I'm not even going to be mad at that, just because, let's be honest about it. First spring training game of the year was good. Baseball was back, so everything was right with the world. The only thing was missing was a big W, and that's okay, because let's be real about it. Cactus League games do not really matter to us. It's those good games, starting next month that really, really make a lot more impact for us. But if you're a true baseball fan like me, baseball is back, and that's good. On Saturday, the Rangers jumped out to a 3-0 lead. The biggest part of Game 2 of the spring series or spring season is Nathan Eovaldi came out and pitched 2 scoreless innings, 4 strikeouts, and 19 pitches. Like in mid-season form, Nathan Eovaldi. Dane Dunning actually picked up where he left off in the third inning, striking out 2 of the 3 batters he faced in the third, but everything came unwound and the wheels fell off, and they gave up 7 runs in the fourth inning, and the Rangers ultimately would end up going on to lose that game 10-5. Now, yesterday they played the Cleveland Guardians. Even though this is the second year as the Guardians, I'm still going to have trouble saying Guardians, but the Guardians just got mollywopped by the Texas Rangers. Your Rangers come out there yesterday and they scored a ton of runs, 2 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and 5 in the eighth, and they won that game yesterday 13-4. Now, some of the things I wrote down, keynotes, obviously we talk about Nathan Eovaldi. Huge pickup from Boston. Obviously, the pickup of Eovaldi was actually overshadowed by the fact that, of course, we also got Jacob deGrom, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the show. But everybody loves deGrom. Everybody loves Eovaldi. Eovaldi, man, if y'all don't know, he has a fastball somewhere between 96 and 98 as well. He's got a killer slider, and his 12-6 curve it can be devastating if he's on with it. All right, so I'm super excited about Eovaldi. Martin Perez pitched today. He pitched three innings, gave up 1 run in 3 innings, and so, if Martin Perez can come back. John Gray obviously pitched yesterday, 2 innings, no runs, gave up 1 hit that was erased on a double play on the next pitch. So the starting pitchers so far this season, this spring training season, haven't done horrible, which is really good. We want them to be good, really good. So so we're looking forward to that for sure. Now, one of my other notes I wrote down was Justin Foscue. He's a second baseman. Obviously, second base is blocked right now by Marcus Semien. But Foscue, this is nice to note, homered in both of the first 2 games of the year. So if he can continue to hit like that and scrape balls around the yard and hit them out, could make it difficult for him not to be on the major league roster. However, at his young age, I'd prefer for him to be in the minors if he's not going to be used. Let him play every day. Let him get that experience. But it just depends on where we're at in the month as far as injuries and how everything is shaken out for the Texas Rangers. I think he's going to be valuable for the Rangers, whether it be on the Rangers as a backup in the minors or maybe a trade piece for something else we may need, maybe a closer, because we're going to talk about that later on in the show as well. Cole Reagans actually came out yesterday and pitched 2 perfect innings for the Rangers right after John Gray. He struck out 3 in 2 innings. Leon, Barnes, and Church all pitched scoreless innings, but it was Littell and Vanasco. They gave up 4 runs on 7 hits in just 2 innings of work. So that definitely was a problem for the Rangers yesterday. Or that was the only problem spot for the Rangers yesterday. Is that's where Cleveland got all 4 of their runs, was in the 7th and 8th innings for that. I'm jumping over a couple of different things here, only because I want to talk about different things at different times for your Texas Rangers. Again, I'm super impressed with Foscue so far. The Rangers bullpen, like, what are we going to do with the bullpen? I have some ideas we're going to talk about in just a little bit, because we are going to talk about who will the closer be for this ball club in 2023. There's a couple of people already on the roster that I think, if they can come back from their injury, will be fantastic. A couple that people think, hey, this guy closed for us a couple years ago, but he has not really been good since. So we'll talk about all that up in the next segment as we get later into the show. My biggest note for the first 3 games is our starting pitchers are really looking good, which is great. Of course, 2 innings each isn't a drop in the bucket compared to what they're going to pitch throughout the entire year. Obviously, we want them to pitch 6 innings a night, 5 or more. Look, if we can go 7 innings, give me 7 strong innings from our starters, I'll take those things they call, good starts. Good starts. We'll do all the good starts, quality starts, as it were. I'll take those in every outing. And I think that this pitching staff, along with Bruce Bochy and Mike Maddox, that's what they want. That's what got us to the World Series in 2010 and 2011. And we talk about that because we haven't been back since, and that was 12 years ago. So we want to do that. We want to get back to the World Series. So quality starts, saving your bullpen, having top-notch back of the bullpen pitchers is vital. Obviously, scoring runs is vital too, but here the Rangers scored 9 today, 13 yesterday, and 5 apiece in the first 2. So 5, and 9 is 19, plus I believe 32 runs in 4 games. It's 8 runs a game. They can do that. Rangers might win a few games more than we have been the last few years, man. At least get us to that 81. That's the first goal I'm looking for, is win number 81 this season to get us to 500, and then beyond after that. That's going to be a good time. I always talk about what the formula for baseball is. Obviously, if you play pitch and defense and you score runs, that's all 3 phases of the game. They talk about football, all 3 phases. Well, in baseball, the 3 phases: you pitch, you play defense, and you score runs. If we can do all 3 of those things, the Rangers are going to have a very successful year. Now, look, I know all the prognosticators and all the experts, as it were, aren't picking the Rangers to do anything. They're like, oh, well, they're just trying to go out and buy wins, or trying to buy this, and they don't really have the complementary pieces. They must not be paying attention, because I'm telling you right now, Nathaniel Lowe is really coming into his own at first base. Josh Young is already considered to be a potential Rookie of the Year candidate this year. We pulled in Robbie Grossman, who had a home run yesterday, by the way. And the way this team is built, if we got it's almost like the movie Major League. If the young guys can get together with the veterans and all come together, I think that this team can really do something special in 2023, not waiting for 2024. If you are wondering, this is there we go. I turn my head that way. This is the spring training ball cap. I came in on Saturday. you guys can actually comment on the show no matter where you are watching from. Okay. You can just comment from the show anywhere and we'll pop it up on the screen. We'll talk about it. If you have any questions about the Rangers, comments on what you think they're going to do this year, give us some predictions. You can pop that up. We'll pop it up on the screen and keep you being a part of the show. Now, coming up next, I'm going to break it down for you guys. We're going to give you scores from around the league, tell you what's going on in spring training, otherwise outside of your Texas Rangers, and then who's going to be our Rangers closer next year, and also the predictions from MLB.com, or the odds for the top 5 pitchers who could be the American League Cy Young Award winner. That's coming up next. You are watching and listening to Riggs on Rangers right here on the DSP Media Podcast Network and FanStream Sports. I'll be right back after this. All right, back here on Riggs on Rangers. Of course, I am your host, Wil Riggs. Follow us on all your social media platforms at Riggs on Rangers. Of course, make sure you follow the DSP Media Podcast Network and FanStream Sports, where you can find all of the podcasts and shows there, not just mine, but all the other ones as well. So make sure you do that and pay attention for what we do each and every day. We'll be back here 4 p.m. each and every day to give you all your up-to-date Texas Rangers news, notes, and more. And I can tell you we're going to go around the league real quick and look over to monitor number 2 over here. The Guardians and the Cubs. Guardians 12-3 over the Cubs in the bottom of the 7th. In the bottom of the 7th as well, the Rockies lead the Oakland Athletics 6-1. Top of the 8th inning, the Brewers are leading the Kansas City Royals 7-4. The Cubs and the Diamondbacks locked in a scoreless tie in the bottom of the 9th. So the Diamondbacks are batting in the bottom of the 9th with runners at first and second. So the winning run at second base for the Diamondbacks in the bottom of the 9th. In the bottom of the 7th, the Dodgers and Padres locked up at 3 apiece. The Angels trail the Giants 7-5 in the top of the 7th. The White Sox lead the Mariners 6-1 in the top of the 8th. Later on today, the Tigers and the Yankees will play as well. And that's actually the only other game that's going to be later today. The finals from today, the Marlins outlast the Astros 4-3. The Blue Jays blanked by the Braves 7-9. And the Phillies squeaked past the Pirates 9-7. The Rays pound the Orioles 14-2. The Red Sox get by the Twins 4-1. And the Cardinals outlast the Mets 12-7. And of course, once again, your Texas Rangers batting in the top of the 7th. They lead 9-2 with 2 runners on right now. They've already had 14 hits for the Rangers so far today, but they are bashing the baseball all around the yard out there as they take on the Reds in spring training game number 4 today. Now, as we all know, a great closer will get you where you need to be when it comes postseason time. Neftali Feliz at one point was one of the best, if not the best closer in the league. And what did it get us? We got us to back-to-back World Series. Now, do we get to finish the job in 2011? No. Do I blame Neftali Feliz? I do not. Blame Nelly Cruz, and I always will. Horrible outfielder. Just cost us the World Series, and I'm going to be bitter for that for the rest of my life. Make sure you guys comment on the show. We'll put those comments, questions, and more up on this up on the screen, and we'll answer any questions, and we'll shout you out if you are interacting with the show. Now, the Rangers head into the season with 4 guys that are vying for the closer role, 2 of which I think are viable closers. The other 2, not so much. Actually, one of the other 2 guys I think is going to be a long reliever, mostly because he excelled there last year, did a fantastic job out of the bullpen. Matter of fact, became Rangers Rookie of the Year, and that's Brock Burke. Burke is has incredible arm talent. The great lefty out of the bullpen last year posted a 1.97 ERA, and that's what won him the Rangers Rookie of the Year. If he settled down in that one space, if he settled down in that particular role, yeah, Brandon, we're with you on that. If he settles down into that long reliever role or middle reliever role, or even a late reliever role, like a setup role, or even a 7th inning guy, he can really be a valuable piece in the bullpen for the Rangers. We got tons of starters. I bet you at least one of these starters also ends up in the bullpen as a long reliever as well. But I think that's really where Brock Burke should stay. Does he have the arm talent to be a closer? Yes. Should you remove him from somewhere he's being extremely successful right now? Absolutely not. That's what killed Neftali Feliz. He killed it as a closer for multiple years, and then they decided we're going to make him a starter and put him in the rotation. And after that, there is no going back. That was the end of Neftali Feliz's career, and I hate that. I wish he could have stayed the closer and us, continue to win games and stuff. But what do I know, right? Just let's take one of the best closers in the league and make him a starter and see what happens. Nothing good. But the man I do expect to be a really, really good starter, really good closer this year is Jose Leclerc. Now, in 2018, he was just murdering it on the mound for the Rangers. He closed 28 of 31 saves out with a win, which is great. Love it. But he got injured. He suffered some shoulder pain and then ultimately tore his UCL. Missed the last 2 years coming back from Tommy John surgery. If Jose Leclerc is healthy and his velocity is where it was a couple of years ago before he got injured, he could definitely be the closer for this team. And I would actually prefer that. If he falters, then there's Jonathan Hernandez, who also did really well closing games until he also had to have Tommy John surgery right after Jose Leclerc. So the problem with Tommy John surgery is it's really not until the second full year before they really feel comfortable and really are 100% healthy. Thankfully for the Texas Rangers in 2023, both of these guys are coming into their second full year following Tommy John surgery. If all things are the same, if all platforms are the same for both of these guys, Jose Leclerc will be the closer. But Jonathan Hernandez is a setup role, not even going to touch it. I mean, you're shutting down the 8th and 9th innings. If you're shutting down the 8th and 9th innings with Hernandez and Leclerc, you're going to win a lot of games. That makes it much more difficult for teams who are trailing to come back on the Texas Rangers when you basically have 2 closers in the game in the 8th and 9th inning. You throw Brock Burke in the 7th, man, you get quality starts out of your starters and great pitching from your bullpen. That's the combination. It's going to win you some ball games. I think that with both of these guys being healthy, we're going to be good. Now, the other one that someone threw in the mix was Ian Kennedy. Now, Ian Kennedy was closing games for the Rangers. Matter of fact, he converted 16 of 17 chances with a 2.51 ERA back in 2021, the first half of the season for the Rangers. He has been absolutely horrible since. He got traded. We dealt him to Philadelphia for Spencer Howard. He absolutely had a horrible year, fell completely apart the second half of that year. And then last year, it had a mid-5 ERA, including his last 9 appearances of the year in September. So the last pitching he did at the major league level in September of 2022, he posted a whopping 19.29 ERA. That you can't have a guy that's given up, has an ERA of 19.29 in September. He cannot be the closer for this team. He just can't. You can't put somebody like that out there. There is zero confidence that he's going to go out there and close out games. That was with the Diamondbacks last year as we played for. He hadn't really been good in basically a year and a half of pitching. And unless he's 100% right, I would say more of a middle reliever or long reliever, but definitely not a closer for your Texas Rangers at all. My money is definitely on Leclerc. 2 years off. He's been doing nonstop rehab, working to get back each and every day. Leclerc he's going to be hungry, healthy, and well rested because he hadn't really pitched full games in 2 years. Let's just keep our fingers crossed that he's 100% healthy again and can get back to that 2018, 2019 form where he was closing games and popping the glove around 99 and 100 miles an hour. Leclerc can really bring it. Let's hope that he's 100% healthy. He can bring it night in and night out. And Jonathan Hernandez right before him. I'm telling you, though, if those guys are healthy, I'm excited about where this Texas Ranger season is going to go. It's going to be a good time at the back of the back of the bullpen for those guys. Now, speaking of pitching, MajorLeagueBaseball.com to come up with their top 5 candidates to win the Cy Young this year. I included this list because it does include a Texas Ranger. Number 5 in odds is Alek Manoah, the Blue Jays starter. They predict for him to go 10-1 with the odds of him winning the Cy Young are 10-1. They predict him to have 12 wins, 195 Ks, and a 4.06 ERA. Now, the odds, if you're predicting him to have a 4.06 ERA and win the Cy Young Award, he better have 20 wins or more, and way more than 195 Ks. Something's got to give. I don't understand that particular stat being that high. A 4 ERA is an average pitcher at the major league level, not a Cy Young Award winner. The 4th best odds actually is the same, 10-1. Carlos Rodon from the Yankees, who my buddy at 105.3 The Fan, Mike Bassick, says is the best left-handed pitcher in all of baseball. They predict him to have 13 wins, 233 Ks, and a 3.16 ERA. Now, I grew up in an era where pitchers had 1 point something ERAs that in 20 wins and 300 Ks. Like that's what the guys who won the Cy Young when I was younger, that's what they had. So when I look at these totals that they're predicting, it's kind of wild for me to see these low win totals. 12, 13 wins is crazy to say that guy's going to win the Cy Young Award. 3rd in odds is going to be Dylan Cease of the White Sox. They 9-1 odds for him if you're a betting man. 12 wins, 227 Ks, and a 3.74 ERA. Like all of his stuff is worse than Carlos Rodon's, and he's got better odds to win it than Carlos Rodon. That's who's making these odds, man? Who's the odds makers are making the odds, and they're probably making money off of this stuff right here. Now, number 2 in odds at 7-1 odds is Garrett Cole of the New York Yankees. They predict he's going to win 13 games, 248 Ks, 3.21 ERA. They also predict he'll be the league leader in Ks at 248. So with a 3.21 ERA. So they're predicting 13 wins and lead the league in Ks and third in ERA. Could that be a potential Cy Young Award winning stats? I mean, I guess it could. Do I think it will be? No. I think that the number 1 guy on this list will win more games than they actually predict him to do. The favorite to win, the preseason favorite to win the Cy Young this year is Rangers ace Jacob deGrom. 5-1 are the odds on that. So if you're a betting man, 20 gets you 100. They predict 12 wins, 236 Ks, and a 2.66 ERA. I believe the 236 Ks, and I believe the 2.66 ERA. What I don't believe is the 12 wins. I think that with the way the Rangers score, I mean, they were 5th in scoring in the league last year. They were just horrible at pitching. This year is going to be a whole lot different. I think that deGrom could potentially be a 20-game winner for the Rangers. If he doesn't win 17 games, I'll be shocked. but I think he can win 20. Matter of fact, I think he and Evaldi will be two of the top pitchers in the American League because they keep the ball down, they strike out a lot of guys, and the Rangers score a lot of runs. That's a great combination for winning games and not getting blown out. So I think the Rangers picked up DeGrom, and I think they picked him up to be the ace. And I think that's exactly what he's going to be. He's going to be the ace of this staff, and then and everybody else follows suit. It's going to be a good day. I think that pitching is a big factor in the way this team is ran. Of course, you got old school Bruce Bochy, who not only does he take his best pitcher and leave him out there, he brings his best pitcher in to finish off games in the playoffs. See Mad Bum. That's how he got so incredibly popular, is because when he was a starter and then coming in and closing games and pitching all the extra innings that Bochy asked him to pitch just to win the World Series, that's the kind of guys Bochy likes, and that's the kind of guys like DeGrom and Evaldi are. So definitely looking forward to seeing how these guys run this team and run these pitchers, and Mike Maddox and Greg Maddox helping out and really solidifying our rotation. It's going to be a fun 2023. I know, again, the prognosticators don't pick the Rangers to win the division or even make the wild card this year. I saw a few that had us picked to finish fourth in our own division. That sounds horrible. I don't want to finish fourth in our division. That's crazy. I don't want to finish fourth in the division. I'll settle for second in the wild card. That would be okay. I mean, the Astros are the defending World Series champions and all that jazz. Let's see here. Let's get this up here. So Brandon says it's a risk, but I think it's a chance worth taking. Dude is a badass when he's healthy. Absolutely. Look, it's only one injury that kept him out. He got injured in the middle of 2021 and then didn't come back until the end of last year from the same injury. I mean, there were a few setbacks, but it was the same injury. So he came back, had a pretty good end of the year, 5-4 with a 3 ERA. But I think as we get into 2023, it's going to be a great time for him. All reports from Surprise are that he is throwing with confidence and with velocity. So looking forward to seeing him take the mound for the first time. Now stick around. Coming up next, I found something you guys might like. Okay, if you like baseball and you like movies, then I have that list for you. According to JustBaseball.com, the indisputable top 10 baseball movies of all time. That's right. It's up next right here on Riggs on Rangers on the DSP Media Podcast Network. Stay tuned for more fun. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Riggs on Rangers right here on the DSP Media Podcast Network and Fan Stream Sports. Let's give you a little update from Surprise, Arizona. Let's let you know that we are in the top of the 8th inning right now. Runner on, and Wheatley, the catcher Wheatley, at the plate for your Texas Rangers. They lead the Reds 9-2. out in Surprise, Arizona. So we'll check back in on that. Remember to follow us on social media, all social media platforms at Riggs on Rangers. If you are watching the show, make sure you can comment from anywhere. And it will pop up here, and I'll be able to use your pop-up like this. Like we're about to talk about the top 10 most, it's the indisputable top 10 baseball movies of all time, brought to you by our friends at Just Baseball. And as Brandon said, I watched Major League yesterday. That's definitely one of my top baseball movies. Mine too, my man. Mine too. Matter of fact, does it make this list? Does it? Does it? Well, we're going to find out right now. So, I love baseball, and that's why I love the Texas Rangers. I've loved baseball as my first love. That's my first true love is baseball. I went to school for broadcasting, and part of that obviously is radio, television, and film. I'm a huge movie buff. I love to watch movies, and if you can combine baseball and movies together, man, that's awesome. Because guess what? There's the same thing. Look, you can watch something you enjoy, eat a hot dog, drink a cold beer, and you're good to go. They're the same thing. I mean, they're not, but they are. I mean, people pile into their cars and drive places to see both. They like to drink cold beer there. They like to eat hot dogs there, nachos, and it's all. They're very similar, very similar. So our friends at JustBaseball.com, they came up with the list that they say is the indisputable list of baseball movies. We're going to jump in this. Now, I do have some reservations about this list because I have my personal favorites and I want to see where they are on this list as well. Some were not on this list and some are on here that there's one that I've never heard of in my life. And guess what I'm doing after I get off the air? I'm going to watch that movie because I've never heard of it. So at number 10 on their list is Field of Dreams from 1989, Kevin Costner. Everyone knows this movie. Everybody, if you don't know the whole movie, I guarantee you everybody knows the most famous line from this movie. If you build it, they will come. How many times have you used that in your life when it had nothing to do with baseball? I can count at least 100 times that I've done that without context of baseball. So there's a lot of reasons this movie is super just very throwback vintage baseball movie. My generation was introduced to Shoeless Joe Jackson and the Black Sox and the Black Sox scandal from back in the day. If you don't know about Shoeless Joe Jackson or the Black Sox scandal, make sure you just Google Shoeless Joe Jackson or Black Sox scandal and read up on that, man. You want to know why there's so many rules around betting on sports? Well, there you go. I think it's also cool that the Iowa cornfield turned baseball field is still there and they still hold games there. And I want to say we still do a major league game there a year. I think they started that a couple years ago, which I think is really, really cool. I kind of want to go to Iowa just for that. Then again, is there anything else in Iowa? I don't know. We'll find out one day when I go to Iowa for that. Number 9 was a curious pick to me from their list. And it made me question their list immediately. It's the 2005 movie Fever Pitch with Jimmy Fallon. Now, look, I love Jimmy Fallon. I think he's an uber talented guy. I think he's funny. I think he's creative. He's actually a pretty good singer. If you've never heard him sing, he's actually really good. I think it's more of a guy movie, right? It's the over-the-top caricature of actual baseball fans from Boston or Boston, where they pack the cod, Harvard Yard. It's more of a caricature of those fans than anything, but isn't that what makes it funny? Because that's what makes it funny for me. Brandon says lots of corn. That's pretty much all there is in Iowa. Cornfields and baseball. That's about all they got out there. So that made me question it. But I do have a goal to go see the Green Monster and go to Fenway in Boston. It's kind of something I have on my bucket list. So I'm gonna let Fever Pitch stay at number 9. Again, don't be mad at me. These are all these movies are just they're listed by somebody else, not me. Okay, these are all done by JustBaseball.com, not me. You'll quickly pick up which ones are my favorite. So at number 8 on the list. This is what if I made the list and went by my list, this would be the number 1 movie on my list. It's my all-time favorite movie. I actually have the jersey and the ball cap that go with this movie. Probably watch it 4 or 5 times a year. It's a great story. especially if you're a Ranger fan, because we actually got to see the real Roy Hobbs play for the Texas Rangers and lead us to back-to-back World Series in 2010 and 2011, and Josh Hamilton. So obviously, I said Roy Hobbs. You guys know that I am talking about the greatness that is The Natural. Not only does it give you a great movie, right? It gives you a great movie, gives some great cool stuff to go with it, and all kinds of like just baseball love. But it also gives us that amazing song we hear every time a Ranger crushes one out of the ballpark. They hit it out of the ballpark, the fireworks go off, and then the PA blasts. You know how cool that was to hear every time the Rangers hit a home run? I was like, man, this is awesome. And of course, the Rangers hit a lot of home runs. Usually up there at the top of the league in home runs. So I love it. I love hearing that every time. And I love this movie. So a little low for me because I probably would have it at number 1 on my own list. But at number 8, that would be the greatness of The Natural. Now, at 7, I think this movie is also a little too low. It's the story of Jackie Robinson and all the stuff that he had to deal with to become the first African-American player to play in Major League Baseball. Of course, during the time, Jackie Robinson had to put up with some of the most vile and horrible racist tendencies that anybody would have quit over the types of threats and things that were thrown his way. But to his credit, he stood like a man, and just proved everybody wrong. So I love the movie. I also love that it was played by the late great Chadwick Boseman. Well, it's always going to, every time I hear his name, I want to just scream Wakanda forever. Because Chadwick Boseman not only was a great actor, but he was a great guy. And if you've ever seen his interviews when he knew he was sick with cancer and there was nothing they could do, he was super humble about it. And he was a very endearing guy, man. Chadwick Boseman was a tremendous actor, great loss for us, but a fantastic performance as Jackie Robinson in 42. That one comes in at number 7. Now, number 6, this is the one I've never heard of before, but as I read about this one, it was done by Richard Linklater. Now, Richard Linklater did Dazed and Confused. Okay, he's the one that gave Matthew McConaughey his first big break. All right. So it could be pretty good because he usually gets the angst and the teen drama or that period time period stuff. He usually nails that stuff pretty good. So I will reserve my judgment of that one on the list until after I watch it later today. Maybe I'll give you a book report tomorrow, so maybe you might want to go see it too, or you might go watch it as well. I'll even let you know what streaming platform it's on. At number 5, probably the absolutely most quoted baseball movie of all time, Major League. Major League coming in at number 5. Matter of fact, when Tim was like, "Hey, Will, do you want to do a Rangers podcast on the network?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'll have to get back to you. Got a guy on the other line about some white walls." Not really, but you get the idea. I've said that a million times outside of the context of baseball. But you always hear yourself doing the just a bit outside. All the things that you can say from Major League and about Major League. You've quoted them for years. Major League comes in at number 5 on their list of baseball movies. This is if you're just now joining us, this baseball list is from a company or a website called Just Baseball, and this is their indisputable list of top 10 list of baseball movies of all time. So that was number 5, and that was Major League. Another memorable and quotable movie at number 4 is A League of Their Own, the story of the all-women's baseball league that popped up back during World War II. Hilarious, funny, incredibly heartwarming at times. The movie touches all the bases, and of course, you got Tom Hanks and doing his thing in the movie. And who can ever forget, there's no crying in baseball. We've been saying that for 25 years, ever since this movie came out. So we appreciate this movie a lot. League of Their Own coming in at number 4. Number 3 is the story of journeyman catcher Crash Davis, up-and-coming pitcher Nuke LaLoosh, and the ever and always frisky Annie Savoy. Of course, also known as Kevin Costner, Tim Robbins, and Susan Sarandon. Movie's funny on all the levels. Lots of baseball in the movies. Lots of philosophical baseball thoughts and how to approach things in not just baseball but in life. And lots of it has a proclivity for horniness, if we're being honest. But that's what makes Bull Durham just a lovable movie. I love it. It's a great movie. It comes in at number 3 on their list. Matter of fact, I'm waiting on my Nuke Lelouch jersey right now to come in. So come on, Amazon, let's get with it. At number 2, quotable, funny, memorable, The Sandlot. One of our all-time favorites. The Sandlot is in its correct spot at number 2. No pun intended. It's not number 2, but it is number 2. You guys get the idea. We've all had our own Wendy Peppercorn, right? The girl you had to crush on back in the day. You can relate to that. And how many times have you yelled out to your buddy while they were frustrating you, and you just yelled out, "You're killing me, Smalls!" All of which came all the way back to our good friends from The Sandlot. Also, the name of our good friend Jared Sandler's charity. So if you'd like us to donate to charity and help other people's in need, make sure you go check out thesandlot.org and help out Jared Sandler, my dude, who will be on our show a couple times this year, maybe more than that, when time permits. So appreciate him for going to be able to do that. But you guys pay him back by helping him out at the Sandlot Charities. And at number 1 is a movie. I love this movie. I wouldn't put it number 1. I would have The Natural on this one right here, but it's Moneyball. Moneyball to me is a modern day just great baseball movie. The back and forth between Billy Beane and Art Howe not playing the team the way he built the team, and then Billy Beane just going, "Okay, cool, I'm just going to trade all your players and make it to where you have to play the team the way I built the team." That's what I'm talking. That's just wild to me that general managers do that, but nobody disputed that that's really how things happened. And it's based on a true story and their historic win streak that season and all the things that went into the bat and Hatterberg and the whole bit. It's a great movie. I absolutely love Moneyball. I'll probably watch it again this weekend, or at least twice more before baseball season actually starts, when we actually have real games, meaningful games. But Moneyball is a great movie. I wouldn't put it at number 1. I would have had it at number 3, and then I would have had The Natural at number 1. But I can't really argue with that. There are a couple on the list I can argue with, but I can't argue with those at all. But this, like I said, this is the self-proclaimed indisputable top 10 baseball movies of all time from our friends at justbaseball.com. If you got a problem with their list, take it up with them, bro. I'm just here to read the stuff. Okay, I'm just reading their list, man. Making some content with their list. So if you don't like the list, just take it up at justbaseball.com. Send them a nasty gram or something. I don't know. Now stick around, because when we come back, we're going to go ahead and give you an update on today's game, seeing where we're at as the Rangers take on the Cincinnati Reds out in Surprise, Arizona. And then we're going to wrap this one up and tell you what you can expect on tomorrow's show. So make sure you stick around. It's going to be a good time right here on Riggs on Rangers on the DSP Media Podcast Network and Fan Stream Sports. All right, back here on Riggs on Rangers, right here on the DSP Media Podcast Network and Fan Stream Sports. We want to thank them for giving us the opportunity to get this done each and every day for you. Be back here again tomorrow at 4 p.m. We'll talk about tomorrow's Ranger game. We got some other stuff on tap. We'll tell you who the favorites to win the MVP are in the American League, and then we'll also talk about what is coming up for your Rangers along the week, as well as way more stories that may come out today. Right now, I'm excited. Got runners at first and second. Evan, two of our top 5 prospects, Evan Carter and Luis Angel Acuna, have walked here in the top of the 9th inning, where the Rangers lead 9-2 at bat right now. Looks like it is going to be Harris, our left fielder. So that's going down right now in out in Surprise, Arizona. We got this question right here. Brandon wants to know, what are your thoughts on the new rules? Okay, pitch clock. I get the rate of play. I do, because I've been to a Rangers game where there was a 9-inning game that lasted nearly 4 hours, just because the rate of play, not because I don't want to say it was the final score of that game was 7-5. That's not enough runs to add an extra hour of playing game. So I get it with the bases empty, 15-second pitch clock. If there's a runner on, 25 seconds. I like that rule. We'll see how it really works. I mean, if you look at the other games that they've played, the games have been 2.5 hours-ish, like 2 hours and 39 minutes, I think, is the longest game since then. So I don't necessarily mind shorter games as long as it doesn't impact the actual gameplay, as far as, nobody's rushed or whatever. I don't think that taking a ball for a pitcher that is got really good control, taking a ball for not starting his pitch within 15 seconds of step into the rubber. I mean, I like that one, but we'll see how that one shakes out. I was not a fan of the runner at second base in extra innings. I just don't. That's like when you were kids. Remember, you just play ghost runner on first, ghost runner on second. I'm not a big fan of the ghost runner rule. I think you automatically put teams in a bind. Let's see what just happened now. Okay, so Dustin Harris doubled to right field, and both Acuna and Carter score. It is now 11-2 in the top of the 9th inning for your Texas Rangers. Dustin Harris with a 2-run double. And there are still only 1 out as the Rangers continue to bat in the top of the 9th. The extra runner thing in extra innings I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I think it's against traditional baseball. That's just, to me, I'm with you, dude, right here. Yeah, I do too. I just don't like it, simply because it's not. I guess it's the old guy. I mean, back in my day, we had to hit the ball to get to second base, which is still today's thing, except for in extra innings. Thankfully, they don't do that in the playoffs, because that would you can't decide playoff games. If you want to get, I mean, you can't have ties. That's not a thing you can do. That would be horrible for baseball, just in general, because way too many teams would end up with 15 or 20 ties at the end of the year. Or worse. So definitely none of that we want to deal with. So those 2 rules, man, I like one, don't like the other, but we don't make the rules. We just kind of watch them. And I don't like the ghost runner rule at second base, but I do like the pitch clock rule. It's not bad. It's not a bad rule. To speed the game up, so everybody's not just staring at each other and trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So a couple of things we're going to talk about tomorrow. Obviously, the Rangers are back in action. We'll talk about Brad Miller and what he brings to the team. We're going to see if we can get some guys on to talk more baseball coming up. Let's see, it's still top of the 9th. First baseman Krim is up batting right now with 1 out and runner at second base. We're going to talk about, like I said, who is the American League favorites to win the MVP. We're also going to look at we'll talk a little fantasy baseball tomorrow. We'll tell you what the top 10 fantasy picks and all of baseball odds are. And we'll give you the World Series odds. Who are the odds-on favorites to go to and or win the World Series? And then I would like your input on where you think the Rangers will fit in your season. How will they end up at the end of the 2023 season? You guys throw in your win totals or whatever. We'll kind of well, maybe we'll save those. We'll save those and see who wins. Maybe somebody will win a prize at the end of the season when we get there. So until we get there, we do appreciate you watching and interacting and listening right here to Riggs on Rangers. I have been your host, Wil Riggs, right here on the DSP Media Podcast Network on Fan Stream Sports. Again, make sure you follow us online at Riggs on Rangers and across all social media platforms, and join us right here, same bad time, same bad channel, 4 p.m. tomorrow as we keep talking Rangers all season long right here on Riggs on Rangers. Until then, we will see you mañana. Have a great afternoon. I know it's Monday, but try to make it a good one. Get you a cold beer, get you a hot dog, and watch a baseball movie tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on Riggs on Rangers.